Hey everybody, thanks for hopping on live again. I see a couple people are on. I'm going to go ahead and get set up. Give me just a second to get the screen share working this time. But thank you guys for hopping on, and apologies for last night with the blank screen. But I think we've got I think I've got that figured out, how I can look at the screen that I need to look at and at the comments as well. So sit tight here. Give me a few seconds and we'll hop on. Okay, so we should be set now. Should be able to see my screen. I practiced this last night a few times. I haven't typically had issues with screens going blank like that with sharing, but I've got it figured out. What the screen goes blank for a second, and I have to. Anyway, doesn't matter. So I want to walk through some Hudl stuff for you guys. I get asked a lot of questions about Hudl. First off, thanks if you're watching. Please feel free to hit that subscribe button. We really appreciate it. Just shows us that you guys are committed to us in the process, just like we're committed to you in this recruiting process, trying to help and get you guys as much content as we can. So we do really appreciate that, and just helps us help you guys more and stay more committed to this whole recruiting kind of craziness. So just to start, the first place I'm going to go, and there's a couple different ways that we can do a highlight. And again, using Hudl as a tool to your advantage versus screen recording and things like that. Okay. So from Hudl, the first place I'm going to click on is library. Obviously, I'm already there. And then I'm going to go pick on the one match that I want to pull film from. Like I said, there's a couple different ways that we can do this. And so I am just going to currently click one video and show you some things, and then show you a couple different ways to do it. So obviously we're in this video. This should just run through clip to clip the way it's set up. I'm going to go ahead and pause it. Okay, but you can see it rolling through the different clips here. Now this is Chloe gave me permission to kind of use her as a demo and an example. And so I'm going to go ahead and pull stuff out for her. So what I'm going to click on first is this stats button. This is going to show me stats for one match. Okay. So this match that I'm pulling, this is going to be, I just want to do kills. Okay. So I'm going to pull those 5. I'm going to click on the 5 kills from stats, and it's going to show me those 5 kills here. Now, obviously, highlights probably, like, kills are probably what you want to go for. That's a really good swing. I like that. Probably going to leave that at the front. You can just go through and watch these clips from here and get an idea of the info that you had. And I'm actually going to leave, I would leave that last one out because it looks like she hits the ball into the net, but maybe they were in the net first, something like that. But go through, you can watch your clips. That was a touch. There's an out of system swing. Okay. Good swing down the line. Okay. So once I've kind of looked at these clips, the first thing I'm really going to do is I'm going to add to highlight. I'm actually going to make a new one. I'm going to click create new highlight. Okay, create a new highlight. And then that's going to show up here. And then I'm going to click on that. Okay, and then that just moved those 5 kills over into the highlights. So then what I want to do next, now I can close this, and it's going to go back to the stats. Okay, so this is one match. I want to do my kills. I want to do my serve receive. Okay, and let's go through and let's grab these 2 clips from Service Eve. I'm not even gonna watch these because they're 3. Add to highlight, Chloe Navarro, demo January. I'm gonna click on that, okay? And then I can go back. I wanna pull these 7-2 passes out as well. I'm gonna add those highlights to this same demo. You can see the highlights that I made yesterday, tried to make yesterday for you guys. Okay, so that's a really easy way to go through just in one match and pull clips out. Fairly simple. This filter button right here is a way for you to pull more than just one stat out at a time. Show you it again here in a second, but because we had clicked on the serve receive, 2 options, those 2 things are highlighted, and so that's what it's showing me. I can go in here and I can also do attacks. I can also do blocks, okay? And I can apply all those filters and it's gonna pull out all those clips. Again, I'll show you a different way to do that here in just a second. But I want to make sure that you know that that's an option, regardless of whether you're doing one match at a time or multiple matches at a time, like we're gonna do here in just a second. All right, so I'm gonna close out of that, and then I'm gonna click on highlights. Obviously, I have access to a lot of people's highlights. These are some match highlights for teams. But you can see here, this is the highlight that we just made, 14 clips. It's a minute long. From here, once I have the clips into this kind of highlight creator, from here, I can edit them and call them different things if I really want to. I'm not going to do that. I can delete. Like there was the swing that she had that was in the net. Not that one. I think it was this one. Nope, one before. Okay, so this she kind of swings. I'm just going to take that out, right? Even though they scored, I'm going to delete that one from my highlight that I'm making, okay? So I can delete, I can edit. If I have a specific clip like this serve receive, I want to make it a little bit longer. Maybe there was a really cool celebration at the end that I want to add. I'm going to make that clip a little bit longer. Or maybe I got a cover ball right away and I just want to include it in one clip, right? So I can extend or shorten. I think the 4 seconds that it uses pretty much exclusively. Okay, great. Someone commented that they're a little bit lost. So I can go ahead and back up here in just a second because I'm going to show you a second way to do it. I'm going to show you a second way to make a highlight. So I can back up for you in just a second. But once you get it in here, I can adjust the clip. I can duplicate, which you don't really need to do, or I can delete it, or I can move clips around. Okay, so this very first attack, here is a really good one. And I definitely would want that to be first. If that clip was not first, then I would want to, if I was down here at number 5 or 6, I would want to move that up and I can just click and drag clips to where I want to go. Okay, so that's simple in the highlight editor. Okay, so starting kind of back over, all right, I'm going to show you guys a different way to do it. So we started in library and then I clicked on one match. And then I clicked on stats from that match, and then I started with kills. Okay, so that's how I got to where I was before, just looking at one match. Potentially that helps the person that asked that question. So I mean, right now I'm making the highlight allegedly. I'm not actually going to make a highlight. I'm just showing you how to do it. The auto-generated highlights right now with Hudl, for whatever reason, are not getting posted. You're not seeing them. I'm not sure. That's a Hudl issue, not a me issue. As far as me being an admin for all these teams, I'm admin for all these teams. I'm not making highlights for them. They need to go in there and make their own highlights. And I would encourage athletes to do that for several reasons. You need to watch yourself play volleyball because you're going to watch yourself play volleyball in college. And it's also good for you to evaluate you and your play. And I tell athletes all the time, only you know you the best, right? No one knows you better than you do. And so your best plays, your best moments, like you're going to be able to highlight those and pull those out. And so I do encourage athletes to go in and make their own highlights. Okay, so we did one way to make a highlight and just pull out one match. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out multiple matches. So I click on reports and then add videos. Okay, from here you can see these 3 matches from Austin. Okay, and so I'm going to click on these 3 matches, and then I'm going to click select videos. Okay, now this pops up with the same kind of stat screen as we saw before. And I'm going to do almost the same thing, but this time I'm going to go through the filter and pick the different clips that I really want to see. Okay, so again, using Chloe as an example, I can pick any of these stats and then add on. I can pick any of these clips and then add on top of that. Okay, so I'm going to start with kills because that's the easiest. Okay, and even labels, if you don't know what any of these things mean, total attempts, attack percentage, kills per set. Okay, 2.3 kills per set is good. Hitting 200 as an outside is good as well. But I'm going to click on kills, and that's going to instantly pull in these 14 kills. Right? I might not like all of these. We'll get to that here in a second, but these are all of the kills. Now from here, I can go into filter, and then I'm doing Chloe, and I also want to see her serve receive, and I also want to see her defense. Okay, and this is going to be a lot of clips when it happens, but it's going to apply these 3 filters, and then I'm going to click apply filter. Okay, so now we have all of her swings, we have all of her digs, we have all of her serve receive. It's 72 clips from those first 3 matches. So a lot of kills, a lot of serve receive passes, and probably a lot of digs. So because this is 3 matches, I'm going to make a new highlight. Okay, so I'm going to go add to clips. I'm going to go highlight. I'm going to create a new highlight. Let's say, oops, always does that. Chloe demo day 1 Austin tour. Okay, and I'm labeling these demos so I can go back and delete them all later. Create highlight. Okay, and then here's the highlight that I just created, and I'm going to click on that. Okay, so then it sent all these 72 clips to that specific highlight. So all these 72 clips are going to be in that one highlight. So then I close out of this, I click on highlights, and you're going to see Chloe demo day 1 Austin tour, 72 clips. Okay, so from here, same kind of process. Best swings, best blocks, best passes, maybe even in that first 30 seconds. If you as an outside hitter have any passes that you like, it's a really good pass in serve receive, and then you transition and get a kill, like that clip should definitely be in those first 30 seconds in my opinion. Okay, so from here, I can adjust the clip length. Again, the clip length for Hudl, the 4 seconds is pretty good. Typically, you don't have to do a ton of editing there. It gives you, for serve receives, it gives you contact of the ball to the set, typically. Defense would only be the defense. Potentially, we want to do a little bit of adjusting. That's just going to depend on where the dig is kind of in those 4 seconds. But going through these clips, let's actually just watch a few and see. Okay, so that's just a serve receive pass, which that's a pretty good serve receive pass. It should be putting these clips into the editor in the same order that you added them. Okay, and for whatever reason, reception was first. It's doing reception and dig. So these are going to be more time stamped because I put them all in at the same time, potentially. Okay, so going through, that's not a good pass. We don't want to leave an overpass. You can potentially go through in the filter and be more specific. So you can say you can do kills from a certain position. You can do 3s and 2 passes. You can do cover balls. You can add or take away. Like, you can be more specific with that filter option. Um, that's just going to depend on like how much content you want to sift through and how long you want to make your video, and that kind of thing. But right now you can see up here in the top left corner, the video is about 4 minutes, which is going to be kind of long. Okay. But I've already taken out a couple, serve receive. Okay. That's a dig. Let's see if we can get to her. Let's see if we can go through the attacks and maybe go through attacks and get rid of some of those. So this one, so like this clip is a good example. It's a little bit chaotic. So I don't know how we got here, right? So I see the clip and it's a good out of system swing, but this might be a clip that I want to back up a little bit and do a little bit more on the front end to show college coaches kind of where, where we're at. This is another attack. That's not actually attack. That's a dump from the setter. So we're going to delete that one because we don't need that in there. What other attacks can we go through? But you just have to go through and pick the clips that you think are the best. This was a good one. I remember this one from last night. Let me pause. This attack here, she tools off this right side blocker and gives me a nice little celebration. So I'm going to pause. I'm going to make this 34 clip. I'm going to move that to the front. I'll move that to the top because I really like that one and I want to make sure that that's in my first 30 seconds. So as you're watching this stuff, you can kind of filter, okay, that's really, really good. I want to put that in the first group, or that's not great. Or like going through some of these digs. Not all of these digs are going to be great. I don't know if you need to put like free ball passes and things like that in there, which are still considered digs. Okay. That's really nice up from that libero. Okay, so that one, I don't know. I'm going to take that one out because that's not a great dig for me. Okay, but just going through and evaluating some of these passes and digs and kills and slowly maybe knocking this 4.5 minutes to like a 3-minute highlight. Okay. That's definitely doable with the 70 some clips that we started with. So that was just one day of an outside hitter. Okay. One day of an outside hitter doing a bunch. Okay. And so that one you see that she got aced. We'll remove that clip. We don't want to include that in our highlights. So one day as an outside hitter, you don't have to do one highlight for the entire weekend and have that be 90 seconds. I actually think that's going to be really difficult to do, especially with an athlete like Chloe who plays 6 rotations and gets a lot of touches and gets served at and plays good defense. Like it's going to be too many touches for you to get into like one 90-second clip. So instead of, 1 2-minute highlight for the entire weekend, like do a highlight for each day of the tournament. Again, if you have the clips to use for that, then I would definitely consider, want you to consider doing that, doing a day 1, a day 2, and maybe even a day 3 if you played enough matches. Okay, that's another one where she got aced. So we're going to leave that one out. Boom, delete. Okay. So just going through these clips, moving stuff around. That's pretty typical. Setters, when it comes to clips for you, one of the things that I think there's 2 things that I think setters struggle with when it comes to their highlights. And that is going to be, she got aced again. I was going to delete this one. That's a tough ball. When it comes to setters, you're going to want to, and let me actually just show you. Let's go to reports. Let's go to library. Let's go to this match. And then we're going to go stats. And then we want sets. Ooh, hopefully more than that. Here we go. There are the setters. Okay, so we've got 6 and 11. Okay. So let's click on the 11, right? So this is going to be what setters typically do is here are my 11 clips. Okay. My kind of quote unquote setting highlights. Okay. And they're going to be kills, right? So all of these are going to be, the result is going to be a kill. But there's a couple different things that I try to encourage setters to do. You can set really good balls that don't end up being kills, right? That's doable. And so it's important to potentially include some sets where they're not necessarily a kill, right? If you're off the net really far, 10, 12 feet, kind of like this one, you still set it. Like that can be a good clip to use because it shows your transition off the net, your footwork, your speed, getting to the ball. Um, it's when you're a setter making highlights, it's important to not focus on the result the entire time, although sometimes those can be highlights, right? The other thing too, and if you'll notice, a lot of these look like they're out of serve receive. There's nothing wrong with that, but it looks like a lot of these are out of serve receive, and she's already at the net. Okay, which is fine. Obviously, that's part of the game. She's not transitioning very far. One thing that I want to see as a college coach, I want to see you transition. Okay, so like this clip right here, um, you can see as we start, she's already moving. And so if we were to move this clip right here um, into the editor, I would want to extend the front end of that because I want to see her full transition out of serve receive. Okay. And so showing the full transition in serve receive, and then also showing some defensive transition, right? Like out of all of these, it doesn't look like any of them are dig to kill. They might be free ball to kill, but again, you're already standing at the net. So showing college coaches what you're capable of. So like that one is a dig transition. Um, and where maybe they're not passing the ball high enough, harder to set. She still makes it work and they get a kill out of it. But you can see as you go through these clips, majority of them, she's already on the net. Okay. And as a college coach, I want to see you transition from base defense. I want to see you transition from, the far side of zone one across the net and still have you set a ball. What are you doing with the non-perfect passes as a setter? I think that's important. Okay. When it comes to liberos, you definitely want to do digs. You definitely want to do serve receive. College coaches are, excuse me. College coaches definitely want to see what liberos do out of serve receive, and so these serve receive stats and clips and videos are going to be really important. Okay, so showing that defense is going to be important as well. Setters, kind of these out of system balls, like you're setting out of system, those are going to be good. The hardest part for liberos and DSs in terms of film is going to be finding the chase balls that you get. Those aren't always statted, and if they are, they're hard to kind of sift through. And so if you have like hustle plays, crazy good hustle plays, there's not a stat column for hustle plays, unfortunately. And so again, this is why it's important for you to make your highlight as an athlete, because you can go, okay, I had this play where I ran into the bleachers. I had this, second touch that I went across the net to get and dove for, right? Because you want those first 30 seconds of your highlight to be impressive, to be eye-catching, to be engaging. And so making some plays that, again, aren't necessarily stat plays or just hustle plays, putting some of those at the beginning of your highlight film as a DS libero, I think is really important. Middles, blocks and kills, setters, again, show me what you're capable of doing footwork wise. Show me how far you can get off the net and still set your middles. Okay. Little things like that. So that's it in a nutshell. I've got a few other videos on the YouTube channel that explain highlights a little bit more. But again, I really like, this is what Hudl was designed for. Hudl was designed for scouting yourself, making highlights of yourself, and being able to scout your opponents. Okay. So please go into Hudl and make your own highlights. They will be better highlights than any auto-generated highlight editor can make. I've talked about auto-generated highlights before. You can take a look at those videos on the channel. I would encourage you not to use the auto-generated highlight videos because they're just not necessarily going to be very beneficial. College coaches don't really like watching them, and they don't always show you in the best possible light. Like just as an example, and I'm having some issues with Hudl. I think I said that last night. Maybe I said that today, but one of the things that I'm kind of struggling with Hudl right now is So like if I go to, where is Chloe? So Chloe has made a new highlight video. Okay. And you can see these ones that I've made. Maybe. Nope. These are ones that she did. Sweet. Okay. So they're popping up here. Um, uh, she has recently made a new highlight video. It's a little bit of a struggle to see that pop up on here. And as you can see, she has some others. Maybe these are the ones that I made, maybe the ones that she but college coaches typically, sorry, I'm rambling a little bit, but this is the example that I'm trying to communicate to athletes. College coaches will get on here and they're going to click on whatever is in the top left corner. Okay. On your timeline, if that's where they go, if that's where you send them, they're clicking on whatever the first video is. That's what they're watching. That's what they're evaluating you on. So if it's some random like 2 clips of kills or swings that aren't necessarily great, then that's how they're evaluating you. And you want to make sure that college coaches are evaluating your best stuff, because that's how you're going to get recruited by them. And so you have the ability to pin stuff. So like if you have a really good highlight, it's your best highlight, might not even be your newest highlight, but your best stuff, make sure that gets pinned to your timeline and to your feed. And then make sure that you are sending college coaches directly the highlight video that you want them to watch, whether that's the one that you have pinned or it's your newest highlight video. Make sure you're just on a silver platter, making it really easy for them, giving them the film that you want them to watch, because otherwise they're going to watch whatever is in this top left corner. The same thing happens on YouTube. The same thing happens on Sports Recruits. Any of these profile pages, Productive Recruit, they're going to click on the first video that they see if it's one that they haven't watched already. And so just make sure that you are putting in front of college coaches the film that you really want them to watch. So if you guys have any other questions about Hudl or highlights, let me know in the chat. Otherwise, I will let you guys get back to the warm and coziness of this winter weekend. But thank you guys for watching. Sorry again for last night and the screen going blank. Hopefully that was helpful. Like I said, there's a couple different ways that you can pull the highlights from the system, but those are going to be two of the simplest ways. I'm still messing around with some of the other stuff on Hudl as I get better at some of the new interactions that they have now with Hudl. I'll probably show you guys some different things later on, but this is kind of nuts and bolts, simplest way to get on, make a highlight, 2.5 minutes. Depending on how many matches you're pulling from, that will take you a little bit longer, a little bit faster. One match is super simple. Going through like 3 or 4 matches might be more difficult. I would encourage you not to try to make one highlight out of an entire like qualifier weekend, because you're going to play 9-10 matches over the course of a weekend. That's a lot of clips for most athletes. That's a lot of clips for them to go through and edit. And that part is what takes a lot of time, like going through and dragging them and then sending to highlights. That part happens really fast, but the actual kind of editing and moving stuff around, that can take a little bit more time. So do it one day at a time, 3 matches. Like we said 70 some clips from one day. That's definitely enough to make a highlight. So thank you guys for watching. I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow on the live stream, we are talking about small club, small town, like how to get noticed by more college coaches. And so hope you guys join us for that conversation. That's a good question. Do you feel it's necessary to have necessity or valuable to have Hudl, or is personal footage acceptable? It's a good question. I think that what college coaches want to see is inline film. They want to see you in context to what's happening. Okay. I know how high the net is. I know how high the antenna is. I know how big the court is. Okay. So from that perspective, I can figure out how, like, your speed, how high you jump, how hard you hit. Okay. The kind of videotaping, recording from parents' lap on an iPhone from like the sideline, it's harder to do that because I'm not seeing the ball go off the hand. I'm not seeing how hard you're hitting, and it's harder to tell how high you're jumping based on angles and things like that. So, do you have to have Hudl? No, not necessarily. I mean, there's plenty of recording tools out there, like a CapCut and stuff like that. I think it takes longer because now I have to watch the entire match, and then I have to pull out clips individually. Trust me, I did it by hand or did it manually for several years before we got Hudl. Hudl. What's nice about Hudl is clip. I want to pull my kills out. Boom, click on kills, and then they all come out. So it just simplifies the process and saves you a lot of time. That's why there's a benefit to programs like Hudl and Ball Time because they're going through and tagging all of those clips already. You don't have to go in and do that on your own and pull stuff out. Yes, like for college coaches, highlights, trying to get recruited from the inline. That's where I'm at almost exclusively. It's better than the sideline. If you want to do stuff from your phone to like post on Instagram, I call those like hype reels. That's different than a highlight video, in my opinion. That's different. If you want to do that, go for it. Do that all day. I think it's harder for college coaches to evaluate you on those types of clips, on those types of videos. And again, like we talked about before, when it comes to putting your film directly in front of college coaches, highlight film from Hudl is going to do that versus posting something on social media. It might not get to them. Okay. But yeah, inline is better. Not a fisheye camera. I actually have, might take me, I have a PDF from Hudl that they sent me. Let me see if I can share that link really quick. Give me just 1 second. Yeah, this is it. So they sent me this PDF, and I meant to put this up earlier, but you can kind of get like best practices. Oh, it's too many. Well, let me comment that. But if you email me, I can send you the link to the PDF. And so you have access to that. It's kind of like a best practices for highlight film. And that's one of the things they talk about. Like, try to be center of the court. If you have to be on the side, try to not be on the side as the line judge, because then it makes it harder to see touches and things like that. So, but from a recruiting perspective, inline film, you go to any of these qualifiers, majority of college coaches are standing on the inline watching. There's some variations there, and I can explain that. But yeah, hopefully that helps. Again, thank you guys for watching again. And sorry for the issues we had last night with the dark screen. I've got that fixed. So hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Stay warm. And hopefully you come back on Monday and we'll talk about some more recruiting stuff.